This week, Apple announced what is supposed to be their Netflix killer. It's called Apple TV Plus, and it's going to be their new video streaming service. It's going to have the likes of Steven Spielberg, Jennifer Aniston, Oprah. All of them are going to be on there. We don't know when it's going to come out in Australia, but they've made a huge number of announcements, which also raise a whole bunch of questions as well. But let's start off with what we know. We have Claire Riley, senior editor with CNET here, and we have Matt Hopkins, who is the gaming and technology editor for Pedestrian. What do we know?
So there were two different things. They had like a revamped Apple TV app, which they want to make it like a one-stop shop for everything, bar Netflix, because I don't think they wanted a bar of it, to be honest.
Strong use of bar.
Thank you very much.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
You've raised the bar there.
Big bar guy over here. But yeah, they want to make it that you can log on and it'll have, you can pay for subscriptions to services separately. So you can have your HBO, your Showtime, your ESPN Plus, or whatever you want in one place. And then on the other side of things, they've got their own original content place now, Apple TV Plus. Basically, it looks like they've thrown $2 billion at a lot of different stars, you know, Steven Spielberg, M. Night Shyamalan, J.J. Abrams, Oprah Winfrey, the list goes on, to make content for this service, but they haven't really shown us a lot of that content.
No.
So we really don't know. I mean, we know what it's going to be. We just don't know what it looks like yet.
Yeah, they put out two very sexy looking reels, which told you almost nothing.
Yep.
Right? So it was like there was one reel that was like, I'm Steven Spielberg and I'm going to narrate this. And it was all the famous faces telling you about the joy of storytelling. And then another one which was kind of had snippets of behind the scenes-y sort of stuff. But is it weird to launch a service and not announce, like with clips and trailers, your biggest products? Is that strange?
I think what they're hoping is that Apple, that it can rely on a bit of star power. So I guess the thing for Apple has always been that it's sleek, it's sexy, it's simple. And so you just need to say, Oprah's going to be doing some stuff. It's going to be great because she's Oprah, just trust us. But it is interesting when you think about, say when Netflix launched in Australia and there were a whole bunch of originals, and obviously we knew there were existing content deals in the works there with shows like House of Cards. But I remember it being really big titles. So you knew you had your House of Cards, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, a couple of big series. But Netflix is so much more than that, and they've spent billions of dollars.
$6 billion, I think, is their annual commissioning budget.
Netflix? Yeah, right. So Apple has spent, I've heard $1 to $2 billion that they've spent on content. But other than these big, the Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon show, the J.J. Abrams, those are the big rocks, you know? If you imagine filling a jar, they're the big rocks. What's the pebbles and sand that's going to fall in between?
The surprise shows, the Stranger Thingses and stuff like that.
And exactly, the little weird cult specials. And I think the big thing that we saw change when we lost our video stores and we got streaming services is we got a real homogenization of content, and we got stuff that is sort of designed to appeal to the masses, because when you have, I think, 1.4 billion Apple devices out there, they want to be getting it onto as many people's devices as possible. And any iPhone, iPad, Apple TV is going to be able to have access to these shows if they pay. So I think maybe I want to know more about the shows, but I also want to know more about the other non-high profile shows. You know, what other docos are going to be on there other than Oprah's docos? I did love the moment in the keynote when Tim Cook and Oprah hugged and Tim just wiped away a tear, because Oprah just has that effect on people.
I look at it and I go, great, there are too many streaming services, particularly in the US, where you've got things like Hulu, and Amazon's a much bigger player over there, and there's a lot, right? Yeah. And I go, the only way you get people to sign up really is with, oh, shit, I got to see that show, right? You've got that, and without putting that front and center, I question.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with you, because I think that's very true. And I was looking at, say, on the Apple TV app, so there's Apple TV Plus, which is their streaming service. The Apple TV app relaunch is going to have, you know, sign in once and you'll be able to get recommendations across your Stars account, your Hulu account, your HBO account. So you see all of those different accounts you can have, and there are so many. So I think they're maybe not going to try and go up against that, and it's the 1.4 billion devices that people will get their iPhone, have an update and just go, oh, it's easy. I don't want to have this pejorative sort of description of Apple users, but just easy to sleepwalk in and
Are
just
you
kind of
calling
watch.
us lazy?
Yeah, no, but I mean, there's a lot of outside the tech world of early adopters where I think there's a pretty even split. People love Apple and Android for different reasons, but I know a lot of people that just say, can I FaceTime you? And I say, that's actually just an Apple product. And they're like, oh, we'll just ask Siri. Once again, they've got great name recognition there because that's an Apple product. I think there's a lot of people that just go, it comes to my iPhone. This is the way I do things now. Yeah. And I think for Apple, it's a way of saying, well, hardware sales are declining, but we have a $10 billion service industry. And that is, we've had success with Apple Music. We've had success with iTunes. We've had all these different successes. I see no reason why Apple TV Plus would be different.
The other big question is we don't know how much it's going to cost, Matt. Yeah. It's weird to have them launch something and not have that stuff locked in.
Maybe they don't know the pricing yet. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they've got as many unknowns as us, and they're trying to kind of pick information out of the reaction to go, okay, well, this is obviously like a strong driver for us. Maybe we need to focus on this, or people aren't maybe willing to pay that much. Let's go this, or because it is an unknown for them. Like it's not something that they've done before in this thing, and it's.
But I guess there's Apple Music though. Like it's not like when they launched Apple Music, they said how much it was going to cost.
Yeah, but I think when they launched Apple Music, there wasn't a lot of competitors in that space. Whereas now they're coming into an environment that is full, like everyone's doing it, right?
They really only had to match Spotify with Apple Music. Yeah. That's probably their main competitor there. So,
all right, there is lots more of this in the podcast of Download This Show. Apple apparently also announced a credit card. I don't know why, but we are going to discuss it. Also, you can now potentially buy things through Instagram, which means some of us are about to be very poor. You can find out more about that in the podcast of Download This Show. It is ready for you right now. See you guys.